Hello, Collective. It's Kai. This is your updated version of you, an update. So you're fixing the bugs, you know? You're creating more space so that you can actually advance, right? With all this new information that you've experienced in your life. Once again, this is all based on my own experience. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or what works best for you. Please use your discernment when you're watching any of my content. I wrote some notes because I really wanted to send this message out. Don't believe others before yourself. What I mean by this is truly like, don't ask people for advice before you ask yourself for advice. And I'm only saying this because truly it's one of those things where like you don't want to ask advice from someone whose life you don't want to live. And even when you do ask someone whose life you want to live, truly, that life isn't your own. So would you really want to or even be able to live their life? Because it's kind of like vice versa. Could someone truly even really live your own life and move through it the way that you have? Bingo. You know the answer to that. You don't need permission. You can do it right now. So I just had this whole experience like an hour ago where I was like, should I go to Beyond Wonderland? Because there's this, one of my favorite, like truly actually probably my favorite DJ is playing there. And I was like, then I have to drive there and then I have to find parking. And then I was like, why the fuck am I rushing this? You don't need permission from anybody to do what you want, what you truly desire, but also you don't need permission to do what you need to do. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, because if you have to prove something, then you're talking to the wrong fucking person. Because at the same time, if you yourself do not have this space, for example, right? Like you're in an environment or in a connection or in a community and they're expecting you to show up in a certain way, but in reality, you don't have the space for that. If this isn't a space where you can communicate this, where you can tell them like, hey, like I don't have the space to do this. I'm actually trying to like figure out my own thing. I just need to spend more time with myself, for example, right? And if they don't have the space to allow you to do that, that is wild as fuck. First of all, that's wild as fuck. Let's be so for real though. Because yes, there's certain levels of connection. Sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes it's seriously not that deep. And that's also kind of crazy because I'm saying that as a Scorpio. Scorpio sun. Scorpio Mercury, by the way. That's why I talk like this. Your ego knows how horrible it was. Your ego knows how horrible it was. That's why they tried to protect you. Your ego is there because it's literally telling you what exactly you fear. So when you're trying to like avoid something, when you're perpetuating this cycle or experience in your mind and you're replaying it over and over and over again, when you feel like this is potentially going to happen because you've already experienced something like this, first of all, nothing is ever repeated truly, because nothing is ever truly the same. You are the updated version of you 2.0. You 2.0. It is you 2.0. And it can go into 222.0, okay? Like it can be however many fucking .0s that you need. It can be a 1.50. I don't know. Whatever you want it to be. Whatever you feel like it is. When you give yourself this intentional space to actually address the shit that you want to address, that you feel like you need to address, that has been brought to your attention within connections that you actually care for. Key. I wrote again, you don't have to prove anything. It doesn't hurt to try. It's a new update. It doesn't actually hurt to try. We just think it's going to hurt a lot. But then when it does hurt, it honestly unexpectedly hurts. And it's kind of like, what the fuck? I didn't know that this was going to affect me that much. But that's crazy because that is showing you a subconscious level of yourself being experienced. It's being brought to light. And then there's these unconscious parts of you that are actively being played out. And if you do not understand if you do not have this, sorry, I correct myself. If you do not have that awareness to give yourself this presence, to be conscious of these unconscious behaviors, you're noting these things, because then you can really see like, oh, this isn't aligned with who I truly am. One of the things that I'm working on right now is not cutting off conversation quickly. Like, I don't know, I've just had this tendency that I've built where, like, you know, like you have a conversation with someone and then it just abruptly gets cut off because maybe someone interjects, like someone outside of this conversation interjects. I mean, that's actually what happened. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I just totally didn't fully like listen to this conversation, and I felt kind of bad. And so I'm hoping, like, when I see my friend tomorrow, or technically today, it's late, but when I see my friend today, I'm hoping that I can like bring that to their attention. Like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean, the environment was just also not the best for us to have like a deep ass conversation, first of all, but it wasn't even that deep. But anyways, besides the point, it fucking doesn't matter, because truly, like, there is a time and place, and a time and a place, the construct of a place. Sometimes there are certain things that like align with like running through protocol and like following a system and having a structure in a sense, so that you can address things and allow there to be a safe space. That's kind of how I view the own personal space that I provide for myself. So I was saying, like, I totally was rushing this whole process. I was like, oh my God, I really want to go, but should I go? Should I not go? And I literally was like, I was at the club today. I only was there for like an hour because honestly, I genuinely don't have the space for this anymore. And it's crazy because it's like, I feel like I'm letting go to make space because now my priorities are so different. You 2.0, like literally 2.0. Because then if I didn't provide space, if I didn't address certain things, then would I truly be able to connect with people that is appropriate and feels like good, first of all, but feels right with me? And then, therefore, how can I present this forward so that I can work with this other person? Because what works for them is beyond me. It's not me. So how am I going to know? Updating myself so that I can become more aware of myself in this version of me. Because sometimes taking that past trauma, experience, whatever you want to call it, but the past, it's the past, truly. Taking that into my future doesn't always align. Because sometimes holding that weight turns into a dense fucking boulder. And then now it's heavy. And now I'm bearing it upon my back and I'm carrying it with my shoulders. And now it hurts and I'm sore. I'm straining myself. And that's when I realized, I was like, why the fuck? Why? What am I talking about? I have to do my laundry. I have work on Sunday. And honestly, if this was like me, literally over half a year ago, I would have done it. I would have fucking done it, bro. I would have went. I would have been tired of shit. I would have had coffee, energy drinks, like kombucha probably. To be honest, it would probably be kombucha because it's black tea. And black tea is really strong for me. So, and I don't drink coffee anymore. But besides the point. Because it's me 2.0. I'm updating myself so that I can actually cultivate things and take myself a little bit more seriously. Because it's funny, I kind of viewed myself to be a serious person in the past, right? So this is how I used to perceive myself. Like, this is what I thought I was. And then I realized, like, oh, I actually haven't been taking, honestly, all the things that I've been passionate about seriously. Because it's like, it's honestly so fucking ironic because today, or yesterday, technically, at work, this was brought up where Sigmund Freud, oh, I can never fucking pronounce his last name, but his, like, theory in terms of, like, psychological development in people and how it correlates with the way that we were interacted with in terms of our parent figures and stuff like that. And then I'm not going to say who, obviously, because privacy, but it was brought up like this isn't as accurate or something in this person's perspective. But truly, I kind of was like, sure, yeah, okay, that's what you believe. But as a psychology major myself, I did say that because we didn't have the space for that kind of conversation. I wasn't going to go into it, but truly, like, I kind of wanted to, I'm hoping, like, I can talk about that today when I see them, but, because they're also my friend, which is cool, but, I realized, like, it's that whole conditioning thing where I'm so used to not giving my, like, personal, like, passionate things that I'm interested in enough, like, validation, I guess, and, like, acknowledgement and encouragement, like, being like, oh, like, this is a good idea, like, you should do it, like, if you're passionate about it, and, like, take it seriously and, like, put your all into it. Because I was putting my all into all this fucking shit that it was building my ego to an extent. Being really fucking skilled at tennis, piano, soccer, like sports stuff, academia, like all these things honestly just built this very egotistical side of myself. So when I achieved things within these departments, I thought that I was better than people because I was taught to compare. I was compared to others. So therefore, that subliminal fucking subconscious, I'm like kind of, I'm sorry. I was about to get really passionate about it because I know, because I didn't speak up about it today or yesterday, that I'm like, bruh, it's so obvious because we practice this over and over and over and over to the point we don't even note it anymore because we're a child. We don't know right from wrong. We're just taught things. We're told to do things. But if you're not allowed the space to guide your own self, when you become an adult and you listen to the shit that people have to say sometimes, if you really listen to it and you're like, oh, you're right, like I've been told, like, I'm the B word or something, or like, you know, just very negative things and shit. If I were to listen to that, which I did at some point, I did for like 6 months ago. It's like a pivotal point for me. But like, I did listen and I believed it and I accepted it and I didn't do anything about it. And then I got really fucking depressed because I was constantly perpetuating that in my mind. Sorry, I just spit. I'm so sorry. And so it's like, I have a responsibility to actually show up for myself. And I know that might sound kind of silly to some people because it's like, obviously, but it's like, bruh, that shit was not obvious. That shit was not obvious to me as a child. And it's so, like, ironic because, like, I'm literally, like, this whole thing with, like, going to Beyond Wonderland and everything, and I realized I was like, why the freak am I even rushing something that I know I would enjoy? You know what I mean? And then it's also like, why would I not open myself up to the possibility of experiencing something different by not going? Because I'm like so used to going out alone and like going on these random adventures and stuff. That was very much a big trend in my life, in my early 20s specifically, where I would just randomly go on these trips, like road trips, and I just made it so fucking fun every single time. No matter what I was doing, I would literally just fucking go on a walk. I would just go on a walk, bro. And it was enjoyable as fuck. And I would go to the skate park, and then I would just go to a nice restaurant, meditate, do some tarot card readings for myself and for the collective. Like, all these things that I know are so enjoyable, so fucking fulfilling for me. literally being present with me, taking myself out and going somewhere. That is a form of, yes, self-care, but like self-love, self-actualization. So I'm like, okay, there's infinite possibilities. Why am I not expanding this right now? Because truly, one of the things that I'm currently experiencing now that I'm expanding is actually having friends in my vicinity that I can see and hang out with and talk to and exchange ideas with. And so it's like, you know what? Right now, I really want to prioritize my loved ones, my friends, because I don't know if, I don't even think I posted it, but if I did in my last video, that's the thing with doing all this shit alone. I'm like, did I post that? Because sometimes I'm deleted. But my friends are moving, and or some of my friends are moving. And it's like, I really want to be able to get to know them on a more personal level. But it's like, I only really see them at my workplace because I work at a rock wall. And so I was like, God, I just need to like create like the situation or the environment for this, you know? And so I was just kind of like recognizing like, oh, like I myself am the creator. I myself am the creator. And like, if I continue to tap into things that like irritate me, then why the fuck am I asking myself like, why am I so irritated, or like being upset that I'm irritated, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, because I get just like, if I don't have proper sleep or food intake, then like I get irritated. And I'm sure that's so relatable to us. We're human, you know, like we have a physical body, we gotta take care of it. But it's like literally, I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna focus on that. Like I literally was just like, I'm so focused on doing this thing right now that I'm doing. I'm gonna focus on that. Like I literally, I was just like, I'm so sick and tired of getting like upset about this, because it's like, it's so one of the things that I realized, especially the fact that I even fucking do shit like YouTube and stuff, it's like I sometimes get really irritated. So maybe this is my pet peeve. When people just stare at me, which is ironic as fuck, because I'm literally a Scorpio, and when I like someone, I just can't help but stare at them. For example, right? So the way that I perceive this action to be like is that, oh, this person can literally not even take their eyes off of me. But then in reality, I don't even know why they're looking. And I think that's also a really common trope that feminines have to deal with, because we literally get stared at sometimes. And then it turns into something, and you're just like, wow, that just totally reaffirmed everything that fucking pisses me off about this whole situation. Is that I don't want this person's attention. But now that I say that, I'm like, wow, that's so true. I don't want to give this person my attention. I don't want this person's attention. That's some real ass shit. Because it's so weird. It's one of those things where I realize, like, with boy brain and stuff, because I have a few bros. I have a few bros, and some of them are a little bit more connected to their divine feminine energy. Some are, I don't even know what to say about them, because I still love them. But I realized, like, I was having this conversation with my brother, and I mentioned this in one of my videos where he was saying, like, guys don't really know what the eyes mean. And I'm like, what? How do you not know what the eyes mean? Like, shout out to the femmes, because truly, this is one of the things that almost, like, drove me insane, because, like, the way that people look at me sometimes, and it's like, ugh. Sometimes I can just tell it's like so lustful, or like so enamored, or whatever the fuck. And I don't mean to like jump to conclusions like, oh, they're obsessed with me, they think I'm blah, blah, blah. No, I don't fucking care. It's literally like I can just tell intuitively. That's why I trust my gut, and I don't assume or make presumptions like, oh, they're going to hit on me or something. No, I'm just like, okay, that kind of is giving me different vibes. But anyways, besides the point, like I'm going to focus on what I'm doing. And then maybe they come up to me, maybe they don't, you know? Case by case. And so it's like one of those things where I realize like, oh, I just have to note these things. Because then, yes, I might have this inner knowing, but sometimes our ego can attach to our intuitive notions. That's why sometimes a femme can be crazy as fuck. And I'm just being real because I am a femme and I identify as a femme. And honestly, it's not that I don't feel shame for it, but it's not that I do feel shame in that. But I realize like it's kind of like the same concept of spiritual psychosis. Like truly. Because if we continue to tap into this attachment with this kind of like intuitive notion that we think we know. Intuition is feeling the known and letting it go. That is true intuition. Because intuition isn't meant to be controlled. That is where ego comes in. Ego wants to control the situation because it wants stability and security and it wants to feel safe. So guess what? You can literally provide that for yourself. That is the first and that is the biggest fucking key there, is that you have to provide it for yourself so you can feel safe, so you can feel secure, so that you can go into this world and be your most authentic self. You 2.0, motherfucker. We are out here. Alright, so that's the video. I hope you enjoyed that one because I feel like it's getting a little bit more... Guys, am I becoming a little bit more structured out here? I realize that these are kind of like more personal videos, and then I do have a tarot account, so I go by Psyche Kai, Psychi Kai, and that's my tarot video YouTube. So if you're interested, there is that. And I also do that on I do general collective readings on there and also on TikTok. So I'm dropping my handles for once, guys. I'm like trying to take this a little bit more seriously. That's why. Because I haven't been. I've just been doing willy-nilly. Which is fine. Like, who fucking cares? But then also it's like, I care. Obviously, that's why I'm doing this. But I do have an Instagram. It's still kind of just like a personal blog. Honestly, I'm still, I don't know, I'm just not interacting with Instagram the same like I used to. So, besides the point, it's been Kai. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your presence and allowing me the space to speak. And I just wanted to send you guys so much love because it's truly like such a privilege and honor to be able to provide these kinds of communications to you and like take what you want, bruh. Do what you want with this information because I don't even know what the fuck, you know? I'm not even gonna go down that road because truly I just wish to share, and I just pray that this in some way supported you. So thank you for being you. Thank you for being alive, truly. And I'm sending you so much love and support on your own spiritual journey. Bye, collective.